Woohoo, it's lit. Whoop! Sorry, TikTok. We have several devices streaming. We have 3 separate devices, and one of the devices is streaming to several platforms. It's amazing. It's our own TV studio. It's a bedroom TV studio. You're right in my bedroom. It's a TV studio. Okay, we're going to be reading from Fundamentals of Unicult. We're going through this book chapter by chapter in the Unicult sermons. So if you're interested, follow the Unicult YouTube channel, and you can actually catch the previous versions of this. Today we're talking about, let me start recording. Today we're talking about forgiveness. And forgiveness is a difficult topic for a lot of people. Oh, sorry, getting distracted. Forgiveness is a difficult topic for a lot of people because we feel entitled to our pain. When something bad happens to us, we feel like we're justified in being in pain and in being angry. And that's true. And we have to acknowledge that that's true before we can move into forgiveness, because our understanding and our ability to protect ourselves is that which allows us to forgive other people. If you are in a situation where someone has abused you and someone continues to abuse you, you should not forgive them, because your anger is an effort to keep you safe. Until the time that you have established clear, strong boundaries around yourself as a protection, then you are safe to let go of your anger, because you are actually safe and you don't have to continue on having the negative feelings dragging you down. So when we talk about forgiveness, we have to understand its mechanism. We have to understand why it exists. What's the point of having the anger in the first place? And I think in our modern understanding, a lot of people get confused about their anger. And they feel as though their anger against a perpetrator or someone who has done a crime against them is serving to protect them. But you can't confuse the idea that your anger is protecting you with the idea that your anger is asking you to protect yourself. Because when you are angry at someone, it may or may not change their behavior. Your anger cannot be relied upon to be the boundary. When someone does something to you which hurts you, which is out of alignment with what you want to happen, which is a crime against you, which you don't want to experience, your anger and your anger alone might act as a boundary, but that's not what its purpose is. The purpose of your anger is to tell you, hey, this isn't safe. How can you create a boundary of protection around yourself? When you can understand that anger is asking you to make a boundary for yourself, it's asking you to stand up for yourself, then you can more easily move into the state of forgiveness because you're safe. So when we talk about forgiveness, we say forgiveness is for the self. Forgiveness isn't for the other person. When you bestow forgiveness on someone, it doesn't help them. There's nothing that it does for them. On many levels, in the astral and energetically, I do think that when you forgive someone, it gives them the opportunity to grow a little bit more. That's not your responsibility. When you're talking about forgiveness, this should be purely from a selfish perspective of lifting your own energy to the point where you are a higher vibrational being who can live in safety and happiness. These are all the misconceptions about forgiveness that we have. We think that our anger is a boundary, and we think that our forgiveness is for the perpetrator. Those things are not true. When you forgive somebody, it is so you can let go of the hostility and of the anger. In Unicult, we're always talking about how we can raise our own vibrations to be joyous so that we can live in a state of unitopian bliss. And what that involves is a lot of consciousness stuff. It involves a lot of thoughts and a lot of thinking deeply about reality. But it also involves a lot of actions. We have to acknowledge our own energy and how it's being affected. We have to take responsibility for the energy that's inside of our body and inside of our mind. And we have to understand that when we are in lower vibrational realities, it is detrimental to us. That means it hurts. And when we're in higher vibrational realities, it's beneficial to us. That means it feels good. As we follow these feelings of feeling good and of lightness, we recognize that we can't carry grudges. We can't carry anger because these things are of lower vibrational reality. When we talk about anger being a lower vibrational reality, it's detrimental to us in some ways, but it has a purpose still. So what I mean is that anger hurts to hold in your body. When you're angry, you expend a lot of energy, it produces a lot of stress, and it could, potentially make you more open to illness, and it's not a comfortable feeling to be angry. But it still has a purpose. Just because something's detrimental doesn't mean it doesn't have a purpose. Just because it hurts you in a way doesn't mean it doesn't have a purpose. Your anger is hurting you in a way to get you to pay attention to something else that is hurting you. Saying that is not okay. You crossed a boundary and it hurts when you do that. So when we see anger, I'm not asking you to ignore it. I'm not asking you to pretend it doesn't exist. I'm asking you to recognize and listen to your anger and say, what is the mechanism that this anger is actually promoting in my consciousness? What is the thing that the anger is trying to tell me so that I can ascend the negative mental emotions and rise into something higher? It's telling me to protect myself. So as soon as you can protect yourself, and this is hard for kids who live with abusive parents, this is hard for people who are in marriages that are abusive, this is hard for people who the boundary setting takes perhaps years to set. But once you get those boundaries set, then you can move into the concept of forgiveness. And forgiveness is about lifting your own vibration. It is, if depending on the boundary that was crossed, it can take years and years, perhaps a lifetime, to let go of your resentment and your anger against someone. Let's see what else I say about this. It may seem logical to say, that person lied to me and misled me. They hurt me. The truth is they were doing the best job that they could to live their own life. If someone hurt you, it's possible that they were out of alignment with harmony and acting in a way that created chaos. It's not up to you to attempt to control behavior. It's not up to you to attempt to control other people's behavior. So when we talk about judging other people's behavior, you can say, it is obvious that this person did a crime against me. They knew that it was a crime, and they still did it. The big brain way of seeing this, the exploding brain, I'm talking about the meme, is that in their reality, they had a reason. In their reality, they have built up a personal reality that means that they should act in that way for some reason. They had a reason to do what they did. Even if they knew it was wrong, maybe they hate themselves, maybe they were in pain themselves, maybe they were abused themselves, maybe they were confused. Galaxy brain, yeah. Everyone is always doing the best that they can, and that includes people who know that they're doing harm. A lot of times, what do we say? Hurt people hurt people. And got a cute text message, got distracted. Okay, people get trapped in their own realities and do things that are out of alignment with their own heart. They don't always act in a place of love and harmony. Pain creates pain, hurt people, and people who are negative are on a lower vibration and they create pain around themselves. So when we get trapped in these lower vibrational realities and they're detrimental to us, we end up acting in ways that are detrimental to other people. I say all this not to someone, but when we can literally ascend into a place of unconditional love and acceptance, we ourselves benefit. From a purely selfish perspective, we benefit. Does that mean that you shouldn't set boundaries? No. You have to set boundaries in order to begin this process. You have to feel safe. And you have to stand up for yourself. And you are the one who has to do that. If you were a child when you were abused or hurt, you couldn't protect yourself. The people who were supposed to protect you failed. And that sucks. It really does. I think we all have been in a situation where our parents did a bad job of protecting us from some kind of trauma. And that comes from ignorance. Most parents really want to do a good job, but they were raised in a really toxic environment. Their parents failed to protect them. Maybe they even felt like that was an important thing for you to go through as well so that they can share that trauma. Who knows why people do these things? But when we ascend into a place of unconditional acceptance and unconditional love for everyone, then we can let go of our anger, which is pulling us down, which is dragging us down. Forgiveness allows you to grow beyond the limitations of your pain. You are in charge of how you experience the world. No one else is. Coming from a place of love will allow you to act in a way of light. You will unlock freedom and joy. And this freedom and joy will blast out throughout your whole world, and you will be respected and appreciated. When you hold strong boundaries, that creates the thing that you long for. That creates the respect that you desire. If you're hanging out with some person who's not respecting you, maybe they're not texting you back, they're not appreciating the things you do for them, you're responsible for setting your boundaries in that situation. And when you set your boundaries, maybe that means that person goes away. But what it does is it tells the universe, you're setting a blast of energy through your life, that it's not okay for people to treat you that way, that you deserve to be respected. And then you call in people into your life who actually respect you. This is absolutely true. I've seen it happen a million times in my own life in different ways. When I no longer accept a certain level of reality and I set my boundary, I say, this is not acceptable. Wonderful things happen. And we need to do this on a global scale. We need to do this with the global elite. We need to do this with the systems at play right now. And it's really hard if you're just starting to wake up to these things. It's really hard if you're just becoming aware of what's been going on. But eventually, first of all, we need to set our boundaries as a community, as a society. We have to say we don't want these leaders who are doing horrible crimes in leadership. We don't allow these people to lead us consciously. It's not so much about legislation, it's about consciousness. So when we consciously say, you are not my leader, I don't listen to you, you don't have any power over my consciousness, that's the first thing, because that's setting your boundaries. Then we have to start to try to understand, how did these people get into this situation? And we have to understand that theirs is just a magnified version of our own reality. Every day we each have the opportunity to hurt people or to help people. And there's certain people who, when they're at a certain tier of society, they have a stronger karma associated. People who are celebrities and politicians and people who are rich have a stronger karma associated to each and every action, because they're actually creating, they have more power to affect the world. So when you're in that position and you act poorly, you have a lot to deal with because you have made a decision that has affected many different people. We have to understand that these are similar decisions to the decisions that we make. They're just exacerbated. They're just more dramatic. Eventually, once we set our boundaries, once we understand and empathize, start to empathize with the evil crimes that have happened on this planet, we can move into forgiveness. Again, this is not for them, it's for ourselves. Because the anger that you're going to feel when you are learning about all this is going to be pretty intense. And that's good, because it's telling you we need to set a boundary. These leaders are not our leaders. They're our enslavers. Gratitude and forgiveness are our most powerful tools in ascension. Forgiveness for the self first helps us rise into heights we previously couldn't imagine. Forgiveness for others does the same for both us and for them. So when I say forgiveness doesn't help the other person, it's not entirely true. It does, but we don't do it for that reason. We do it for ourselves because we care about ourselves. And we have to talk too about forgiveness of the self. We take on responsibility for our own realities in a way that makes us feel guilty for things that have happened to us that we had no control over. If you were ever involved in a situation that was traumatizing to you, there's likely an aspect of yourself which feels guilty for it happening, even if there was nothing that you could have done to stop it. Even if you were doing the best job that you could to protect yourself at the time. So I want you all to take a minute and think about a time where your trust was betrayed, or where you were abused, or you were hurt, where somebody did something against you that really hurt you. And just think, do I feel responsible at all for this? Am I telling myself a story that says, I should have done this, or I should have done that, or if only I had known? And we hold on to this guilt for things happening to us, and we feel responsible even though we have no responsibility of what they did to us. So just explore your own consciousness, first of all, about all the things that have happened to you, because that's kind of a blind spot. We might not realize how much guilt we hold on to about things that have happened to us. And you have to figure out to say, I did the best job that I could at the time. Other people should have behaved better. And I deserved to have a safe experience rather than the traumatic one. That will radically shift your energy. Beyond that, we have to forgive ourselves for the things that we've done that have hurt other people. And a lot of us don't even want to look at that. We don't even want to admit that we've ever hurt anybody else. But all the things that this does is it expands your consciousness so that you can have a galaxy brain understanding of forgiveness, radical acceptance, and radical love. So think of the ways that you may have hurt other people. Think of the ways that other people might be walking around feeling traumatized by your actions, and forgive yourself for that too. Doesn't mean you shouldn't change your behavior. You should absolutely acknowledge that you did harm to somebody else and figure out how you can not do that in the future. A lot of times it involves having a higher vibrational reality. But you have to understand that you are doing the best job that you could at every moment. You felt justified in everything that you did. And when you use this, when you apply this to your own consciousness, because your own consciousness, you know it's true. You look around and you say, I am 100% sure that I was doing the best job that I could. Then you can start to understand that with other people, they're doing the same thing. You can't just assume, oh, I did the best job that I could, but they did a bad job on purpose. So forgiving the self, I mean, if this is something that you think about and you just like instantly start crying, or it's like overwhelmingly emotional, that means you need to spend more time with this thought. You need to just maybe go into meditation, listen to some meditative music on YouTube. You can listen to 432 hertz meditations. You can listen to binaural beats. Just go into a relaxing state, relax your body, and explore in your consciousness what areas do you feel like you need to forgive in yourself and others. And just seeing those areas is the first part of the process. And then it's about working on them consciously. We have to put our phones down and we have to just think about things sometimes, because this is a constant barrage of external information. But you need to do the internal work. I recommend going to a park, going into nature, sitting under a tree. Don't even bring your phone. And just do the work of your own consciousness. Make time every day to meditate. That's why I love these prayer beads, because I go and I pray over every bead and I just do the internal work. If you feel like it's overwhelming, you can call to a higher power. It doesn't even matter what the higher power is. It can be angels, aliens, God, guides, anything you can imagine, flying spaghetti monster. If it helps you, that's the thing that you should be focusing on. You call that higher energy, which you feel is more powerful than you, into your life, which is more aligned with divinity. And you can say, oh, please help me with this. Please help me with this. Please help me with this. Allow this to happen. Allow that to happen. Help me understand this. Help me process that. Help me align with this. I'm ready to align with this. What you're doing is you're sending out an energy And all the beings who are capable of helping you can help you because you give them permission to help you. And you can actually change your life through prayer. It sounds crazy to many people, I know, but if you pray every day about things, you will watch them manifest before your very eyes. You call to something higher. It can even just be your higher self. You have to trust in an energy that's greater than yourself, that knows more. You have to humble yourself in that light and ask for help. It's a weird life hack, and it works. Healing magic is using the sacrament to help your meditation journeys. Yes, we are calling the sacrament is cannabis in Unicult. But it could be, if not everybody likes cannabis, you don't have to do that. It's just an option. All right. Thank you for joining me for Cam Church. It's great to be here with all the new TikTok followers. Check out Unicult Supply Co. if you want to join Unicult. Spirit of Uni, we call you into this chat room to bless all of the individuals, charge their bodies, their minds, and their homes with divine light so that they are in alignment with their greatest joy. Let everyone have a wonderful day and a wonderful week and be filled with pure, unconditional light to process all of this. We are all in love with each other and we ascend into Unitopia. Thank you. Please stream America's Sweetheart on whatever music platform you listen to it on, and it's on TikTok. I haven't checked on Instagram yet. If you want to make little videos, you can do that. And even demons, we pray for the demons, but usually the word demon, this is a good distinction. I'll put the candle down. The word demon generally represents a lower vibrational entity, right? In your own consciousness. When you're opening your mind up to a higher vibrational entity and you're looking to something higher, that means vibrationally higher. Demons, the word demon is just a catch-all for something that is of a lower vibration than us. So we get to choose. Do we want to go in an upward spiral or a downward spiral? When you pray to something higher, that means something greater than yourself. If you think something greater than yourself is a lower vibrational being, then you're not really going to be having a good time of things. That's a detrimental reality. It's going to be taking you in a denser reality, in a detrimental way that harms you. If you figure out how to pray to something higher vibrational, in the sense it's greater than yourself, vibrationally, that means joy, that means divinity, that means unconditional love and harmony, you're going to be going in the upward spiral. So whichever way you direct your attention is your choice. But I recommend the way of the light because that feels better. It's as simple as that. Thank you for all the donations, and thank you for shopping on Unicult Supply Co. The financial assistance is greatly appreciated. And it is on Spotify. I haven't checked. I think it is. It should be on every streaming platform. Thank you. Uni bless.